Stay there.
Fucking rain today, coming over. A little bit. I was soaked coming over here. Anyway, welcome. Today we're going to have a very good discussion on tea. Don't be afraid to ask questions. No question's a stupid question. Feel free. Hopefully we'll go through this presentation today. Don't set your expectations too high. But let me know. I'll be here afterwards to answer any kind of questions that you might have. But we have a lot of great things that we're going to be going over. So I'm going to start walking through this. So anybody out there know what's the most consumed beverage in the world? Does anybody know? Tea. What? Tea. What is your name? Lily? So tea, close. The #1 consumed beverage in the world is water. Right? Because guess what? The #2 beverage is tea. You always need #1 to make #2. Right? 1 and 2. So anyway, tea is the second most consumed beverage in the world. So where did tea come from? Where did it start? China. Lily. China. So we're going to talk about how legend has it. This is Emperor Shennong. Emperor Shennong is with his fine wife, lady. They were sitting around in the woods having a little picnic. Now in China, back in 2732 BC, you couldn't drink the water. There was a lot of bacteria and dysentery, so you used to have to boil the water before you could drink it. So when they happened to be boiling water, because they wanted to have fresh water to kill any contaminants, some tea leaves wandered into a pot of boiling water, and all of a sudden they had tea. So that's what legend has it. But here at Twinings, we don't think that, because we know that tea was founded in China, but it was down in the southern part of China, in the Kunming Valley. But back in those days, whoever invented tea, the emperor always took credit for it. So whatever great inventions or whatever, the emperor always took credit for it. So we don't know who was the first one that founded this product, but this is where the legend has it. They had a wonderful cup of tea in 2732 BC, and people have been drinking tea ever since then. It's changed in a lot of different ways, and we're going to talk about it today when we go through this presentation on all the different ways. And here in the U.S., we're a coffee drinking society. Americans have been drinking coffee for a very long time, and I gotta admit, every morning I do have a cup of coffee, but after that, I roll into drinking tea. A couple of points: that coffee is a diuretic. Coffee takes all the minerals out of your body, where tea puts all the antioxidants and goodness back into your body. So, when did tea start coming over to the new London? So, Catherine of Braganza from Portugal brought tea to London in early 1706. Twinings actually started out as a coffee house. Kind of like today, there's a lot of coffee shops, Starbucks at every corner, Dunkin' Donuts. For people that live in the Northeast like I am, there's Dunkin' Donuts literally everywhere. So these coffee houses were over in London at every corner. And people would go, men would go in and conduct business inside these coffee houses. The one thing that were not allowed inside these coffee houses were women. It was unacceptable for women to be going into these coffee houses because it wasn't proper for a woman to go there and have a cup of coffee. It was for men, talking business. So Thomas Twinings, his wife, was like, hey, we got this tea coming over, and Catherine of Braganza, let's do something a little different. So inside of our coffee house, we started selling tea. Daniel Twining in 1749. Does anybody know when this country was founded? Officially, right? And does everybody remember there was a historical event, the Boston Tea Party? Okay, so the Boston Tea Party, the Twinings was at that Boston Tea Party. We actually have the bill of lading. The Twinings family kept very good records. We have the bill of lading that our tea was actually purchased from that time. Some more historical facts about Twinings. We have the oldest registered trademark in the United States. One of the first ones that started with the oldest one in use today. So we have a history of Earl Grey. Everybody's heard of Earl Grey, correct? So Earl Grey is made with a ugly looking fruit. It's called the bergamot fruit. It kind of looks like a lemon, but it has like little, it's really ugly looking lemon. It's not big here in the United States, but if you go to Europe, they use a lot of bergamot. So they use the oil from the skin to flavor a black tea. And what happened was Richard Twining, he created Earl Grey for, at the time, the Prime Minister of London, who was the Earl Grey. Unfortunately, there was no registered trademarks back in the day, so every other tea company decided that they would make an Earl Grey, or at least their version of it. So, Twinings, we started making Lady Grey here, and it's a registered trademark for us. Nobody else can make a Lady Grey tea. And Lady Grey is made with bergamot, lemons, and oranges. It's a nice citrus tea. Has anybody had the iced tea over at the Rose and Crown? Anybody been to the Rose and Crown? Or to drink some beers, right? You go to Rose and Crown for beer, Scottish eggs. So if anybody goes, if anybody likes iced tea, we have Lady Grey. They brew Lady Grey. And I'm going to pass this around, what it smells like. It's truly a great tea. And what's happening with a lot, if you want to smell that and just pass it around there, that's what a Lady Grey smells like. What happens with people drinking iced tea, if any of those iced tea drinkers out there, they use a lot of cheap tea now because they give it away. So they're constantly looking for cheaper teas. They might use tea from Argentina or South America because it's very inexpensive. This is truly a specialty tea, and if you like iced tea, absolutely delicious. And then there's another thing that we're producing here. During the Food and Wine Festival, we have a pumpkin spice vanilla milkshake. Anybody try that one? No. You had it? How good was that? With or without vodka? Without. Absolutely, with the little broken up vanilla cookies. I haven't had those in years since I was a kid, but it was great. That was the first thing I ate. So we have a pumpkin spice milkshake that is absolutely awesome. If anybody wants to try it, please stop by. If you walk out of our tea shop, you're looking at the Rose and Crown, it's right to the left, it's in Ireland. So how I have it is I have it with caramel vodka. You know, it's very, very good. Yeah, so we brew the pumpkin spice chai tea and we blend it with vanilla ice cream. So it's a pumpkin spice chai milkshake. Delicious. And then right after the Food and Wine Festival, we're having another one. We're having a hot toddy. Jason, what's in a hot toddy? What are they?
Grandouille, and it's Christmas tea.
So it's made with Christmas tea, which is a black tea with cinnamon, and it's absolutely delicious. Oh, a lot of people don't know what grandouille is, but so since 1837, we've been having. If you look at our logos, it's called the Royal Warrant. Anybody know what a Royal Warrant is? Royal Warrant. Very good. You get it down. So, since 1837, we've had the Royal Warrant on our teas. That means every royal family since then, and we also have Queen Elizabeth, but it started with Queen Victoria, we've had the Royal Warrant. It's something we're very proud of. That means the royal family drinks our tea. Now, I can't tell you what they drink and how they drink it, but I can tell you that they do drink tea. We go over, we train the servers how to make a proper cup of tea. So, we've also done a lot of, people that live in the area have been to our shop at Epcot. We've had a lot of different teas that we've done that's only sold here that you can't buy anywhere else. A couple of those things are, we did the Queen's 90th birthday. We did a special tea here. We did for the royal wedding, and Prince of Wales is Charles's tea that we've done for him. So hopefully, when he takes over succession, which I don't know, I can't keep up who's taking over, but we're thinking that that is the tea that we made specially for him. So a little bit else. So we were founded in 1706. Who's the young kids? So 1706 and it's 2017. How old are we? 10, 11, close. 311-year-old company. Now think about that for 1 minute. We've been in business for 311 years. You're not in business that long by making an average cup of tea. We truly buy the best tea leaves in the world. We have the best master tea blenders. I've been to Sri Lanka, I've been to the tea fields, I see where they do it. I've been to our blending facilities. I can honestly stand up here and tell you we have the best tea. And if we didn't have the best tea in the world, we wouldn't be in business for 311 years. So we've been in business 311 years. We talked about the royal warrant. We're very happy about that. There is a 10th generation. His name is Stephen Twinings. He's absolutely a wonderful, charming man. He comes to Disney. If anybody had the opportunity to go, he goes to our shop inside of Epcot. Has anybody been to our shop at Epcot? Hey, very good. We've got some hands out. Okay. Only 2 milkshake drinkers, but people have been to our shop. So Stephen comes. He was just here this past week. He'll sit there. He is a humble, charming person. He is a master tea blender. He has traveled all over the world. He's a great guy. If you want to really dive in and learn about tea, he's a great person, and he'll tell you all about it. So he comes here probably 2-3 times a year. It's a very good thing. Our teas are sold in 115 countries globally, and we're the #1 specialty tea company in the world. Now, we talk about Twinings as a specialty tea company, and like, what is a specialty tea company? Now, there's a lot of commodity type teas that are out there, like a Lipton or a Tetley, that are commodity. It's not in a foil line envelope. It's just a commodity type tea. So we're the #1 specialty tea company in the world. The great relationship that we've had here, we've started our relationship with Disney back in 1979. With Stephen's father, Sam Twining, cut the ribbon to our shop that's over in the UK Pavilion. So what is tea? What is it? Oh, it could be sweet if you want to add some sugar. Tea is made from Camellia sinensis. So Camellia sinensis is an evergreen, and I'm going to show you where it comes from, the tea gardens and tea fields. But we only use the top 2 tea leaves and an unopened bud. Anytime you go below those 2 top leaves and an unopened bud, the quality of the tea diminishes very, very rapidly. And you can taste the big difference. Now, there's a lot of companies that use these big hedger machines that go through and cut down, and you'll get a lot of different things. We don't ever buy tea that is done with a hedger. We only use hand-picked teas. So, tea is naturally caffeinated. It's naturally non-GMO. So a lot of times people are like, what is GMO? Non-GMO. You know, you go anywhere else in the world, the country's already non-GMO. Here in the United States, we have a lot of genetically modified, especially corn and wheats and whatnot. So tea is naturally non-GMO. Now, although there's some tea companies that will use alcohol to flavor teas, to give it the flavoring, we don't use alcohol-based flavorings in any of our teas. So, less than 1 calorie per cup unless you put sugar or milk or anything in it, so not a lot of calories, and it's very, very healthy for you. And it could be decaffeinated. We use a Swiss water treatment formula to decaffeinate our teas, which is a very expensive process. A lot of companies will use different processes that are not as good. And also it can be organic. A lot of times people are like, oh, they want to buy organic. We have an organic fair trade line that we have. It does very well. So tea is natural, simple. To me, I drink tea. I'll have a cup of coffee in the morning, I gotta admit. But all day I'll drink lemon ginger, I'll drink green teas, and I'll drink a lot of white teas. So, herbal teas. So herbal teas have no Camellia sinensis in it. So herbal teas are herbs, flowers, could be like a different type of leaf that's not a Camellia sinensis leaf. So these leaves that people have been drinking for years and years and years to help, like peppermint, helps you with your digestion. or chamomile helps you relax. So people have been drinking these herbal remedies for years. So herb teas it's probably about 50% of all tea sold here in the United States are herbal-based teas. Our number one herbal tea is our lemon ginger, which I absolutely love. It's one of my go-tos. So where is tea sourced? So if you look at the maps, tea is sourced here in South America, tea is sourced in Africa, India, China, Sri Lanka, Japan. We don't source any tea from South America. The quality of the tea is not good. So tea is kind of like wine. Do we have any wine drinkers? Okay. So wine is grown in specific parts of the world, kind of like tea. So if you go to Napa Valley or Sonoma Valley in California, they grow some of the best grapes in the world, and they produce some of the best wines in the world. So in the early 70s, Lipton got very nervous because there was the Vietnam War that was going on. So Lipton got a bunch of tea plants and brought them over to Charleston, South Carolina. And it's called the Charleston Tea Company. If anybody has been to Charleston Tea Company, okay? But the quality and whatnot, it just wasn't there. You could grow tea leaves and they produce tea. Right now it's actually owned by the Bigelow family. They produce tea, you can go do a tour and whatnot. But the quality of the tea is not as good. People have tried to grow it in different places, but we found that these are the best growing regions, mostly India and China. And also in Africa, a lot of our tea it's called an Assam tea, which is going to be a very strong black tea. So this is what a tea garden looks like. And you'll look at it, it's kind of like this, like an evergreen. And if you look at the growth spurts, after like a little bit of a cooler winter over there, you have these growth spurts. A growth spurt is called a flush. So these flushes that come up, and that's where they pick the two leaves and a bud. And if you can see, here's the pluckers, and they're very talented. They can bounce those big baskets on top of their heads and pluck the leaves and put them on top. And you can see the evergreens. And they use bamboo shoots to know exactly where they are. So they're always looking for the two leaves and the unopened bud. They pick the teas just like this evergreen. You can smell it. It's great. Yes, sir. Oh yeah. So some of these tea gardens are hundreds of years old, thousands. So they're constantly pruning. So these growth spurts are what they look. So after all the energy, after a very cool winter, the growth spurt comes up. The tea, you get different quality depending on when you pick these teas or pluck the teas. You can taste a dramatic difference on it. I've been to London with these master blenders, and they say, "Go ahead, Dan, make your teas." So they weren't watching you pick tea, and I'll tell you, this tea was picked in the morning. This tea, they have such a good keen taste and smell. They can tell you exactly where the tea is from. It's kind of like a sommelier with wines. So they'll pick it, they'll take it, they'll put it into the sacks, and depending on the Camellia sinensis, how you process that is what you're going to get. Either a black tea, a green tea, an oolong tea. So they'll put it out. This is actually Sri Lanka. I was here, I took this picture. The leaves are dumped in and they spread them out. So they're oxidized. So we're making black tea right here. So these leaves will sit there and they'll start to oxidize. It's kind of like if a leaf falls on the ground, it'll start turning brown. It's kind of like what happens here, but we speed up the process and we'll stick it in an oven. And this is really what it looks like. They'll take the tea, they'll CTC, cut, curl, cut, and that's what it'll look like before it goes into the dryers. They'll spread it out. Then it goes into these ovens. And then it's packed in this. We used to pack it in burlap bags. But the burlap bags would carry a lot of, pick up a lot of scents from different things. So now we put it inside these, it's like a plastic sealed bag that you get no outside contamination. So black tea is fully oxidized. So this Camellia sinensis is fully oxidized. It becomes black tea. If anybody's been to a Chinese restaurant, they'll have oolong tea. It's a semi-oxidized tea. They let it sit for a little bit. They'll stop the oxidation process by heating it up. It'll become an oolong tea. It's kind of like I say it's like white Zinfandel. You know, they keep the grape skin in contact with the juice to make it pink. Then they take out the skins. You have white Zinfandel. It's kind of like an oolong tea.